The Disney film Hercules shows interesting relationships between Hercules and other characters. One such relationship is that between Hercules and his mentor Phil. At first it seems like Phil cares for Hercules, but instead it looks like Phil just cares about fame and fortune. This strange relationship, as well as Phil's own actions, show that Phil may suffer from antisocial personality disorder, also called sociopathy. Health.com's 9 Sociopath Traits quotes Donald Black, a professor of psychiatry, saying that sociopathy is a syndrome characterized by lifelong misbehavior. The article then proceeds to list 9 symptoms of being a sociopath, some of which Phil shows to have in the movie. Firstly, sociopaths tend to have difficult relationships. Rather than create meaningful connections with people in their lives, they try to exploit them for their own benefit. When we first meet Phil, we see him peeping and chasing nymphs rather than talking to them like a sane person. This also ties in with a second system of manipulativeness. Sociopaths are known to try and seduce people around themselves for their own gain, and they are usually known as charismatic. While Phil doesn't seem like a charismatic type, Dr. Black says this isn't unusual as he sees plenty of antisocial men in his hospital, and he would not use the term charming to describe them. Third trait is deceitfulness, but Phil never really lies to anyone or is seen as deceitful. The next 2 traits exemplify Phil very well: callousness and hostility. Phil is very quick to get angry and aggressive if he feels he is wrong. In this scene, he literally turns red with anger. The next trait is irresponsibility. When we first meet Phil, his house is a cluttered mess and his training fields are overgrown. This is not the kind of living conditions a grown man should have. The next trait is impulsivity. Phil shows this trait when he is insulted by the people of Thebes. What does Phil do when Hercules' heroic abilities are being questioned? Does he keep a calm head? Nope, he just jumps and attacks one of the citizens. The final 2 traits are likely the biggest example of Phil's possible sociopathy: lack of empathy and risky behavior. Phil shows us his lack of concern many times. When Phil is reminiscing about his past students, he doesn't show any sadness or remorse for their presumed deaths. His only regret is that none of the 5 famous heroes, Jason, Odysseus, Achilles, Theseus, and Perseus, were enough of a hero to get put in the stars. Wait a second. Huh. Anyways, later in the film we see Hercules get devoured by a hydra and Phil's reaction to this. Does Phil show any sadness over losing his new friend? Does he shed a single tear for the newly lost? No, he just says, with an inflection that says, well, there goes my last chance to make a name for myself. As for risky behavior, though Phil himself is quick to dash out of trouble, he's more than happy to let Hercules fight something that may kill him. In this scene, we just saw Hercules narrowly defeat a single-headed hydra, but when we see the hydra's head turn into 3 heads, rather than telling Herc to run for his life, Phil just shoves Herc's sword back in his hand and runs to save his own ass. But maybe Phil does actually care for Hercules. After all, we see him rather remorseful when he finds out the truth about Megara. So is he actually a sociopath, or is he just a perv with a short temper? Let me know what you think.